We are live on YouTube, on TikTok. Awesome thing is, normally I tell you on TikTok I can't see your comments. The good news is I can see your comments. I have figured that out. So we do have the comments for TikTok if you're watching this on YouTube as well. So and if you're in the community, y'all know where to find me on the trading floor. So I want to start this off real quick for those on TikTok and interested in option day trading SPY. That's literally primarily what we trade. That's why you always see that on my first chart. So I'm going to talk about that here actually very shortly. But for those who always ask, guys, I get DMs on the side and emails like, hey, what's your Discord? Want to check it out? Guys, we don't use Discord. I want to start this off, just take 2 minutes on this. We don't use Discord. This is our Discord right here, right? And so this is where we do everything. And you can see right here, I mean, I wanted to give a shout out to Francisco on this. I mean, Francisco started with us, I think, gosh, I don't even know. I think it was like 6 months ago. I think he said 7 months ago. And it's funny because I want to spend a minute just kind of congratulate him because he did struggle in the beginning like everybody does, right? But the key thing is, it's funny. He used to ask so many questions that he would say, man, I feel like I'm kind of bugging you. And I'm like, no, dude, like I want you to ask questions. I don't know you have a problem with your TA unless you ask questions. And so it's amazing. And he has just been killing it. I mean, this is like a regular thing lately. He's putting up $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 wins. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing for 7 months in. I mean, that's just so crazy. And that's that's the power of options. I got a call coming in here. Let me mute that. And so that's the power of options. That we teach in the room. And options, you can make a ton of money with options, but you can get wrecked really bad too. So, but we don't have a Discord. To sum that up in 2 minutes here, this is our Discord. We created our own Discord. Long story short, it's because on Discord they allow too many scammers. People were getting scammed thinking it was me or thinking it was CK, and we got tired of that. So we just created our own Discord. So everything's done on our website. We do automated trading, indicators, all that stuff. So botjock.com if y'all want to check it out while we're doing the TA here. So let's talk about the SPY. Let's talk about how we traded yesterday, what I called yesterday, how that played out. I'm going to go to the 2 minute. I'm going to delete these arrows. I put these out for the daily insight, and we'll talk about those in a minute anyways. So let's talk about yesterday. So Wednesday. If you look at my huddle yesterday, we were talking about, so we had this push north right here. And what I had mentioned was, if you guys were following along, is the key area was going to be this, 443.90 range or so, right? And we had to, if we held below this range, I said make sure you stay put, right? You want to be careful on taking the calls, and that worked out perfectly, right? We had some nice little pump scalps if you did take some calls, but this was a crucial range. That's what I talked about yesterday. And you can see why, right? When we broke down, couldn't even in this little pump here, we couldn't break and hold this 200 on the 2 minute, broke down again. So now I did have a trend line here I'll talk about shortly. These lines here, just to kind of touch on, if you ever see these lines, these are when I'm teaching in the room and I'm talking to people about, these are our little mini support lines, right, where we can look for the big breakouts. And so we saw the double top, it didn't break the line, right, created a pump, so we had now we have our neckline here, came down, still couldn't break it, had one more pump up, kind of creating our triple top there, and then we finally broke the line there. And so once we saw this line break, we got our fractal confirmation, we got our break below this one here. It was, I mean, that doesn't get any easier than seeing that put there. So, and I believe I have it muted, but yeah. So our Harmonic Tracker Pro actually called the long and it called the short within there. So I mute this one just because it gets noisy, right? If I'm trying to show, if you're trying to show trend lines and support and resistance, it becomes very noisy. So let's talk about where we bounced, where we're going, what's next. My thoughts. So what I wanted to show y'all here, and I put this on the daily insight, on the 1 hour, we have a continuous falling channel here. And what I wanted to show you is, although we're falling consistently lower lows right here, again, I want to keep pointing out the fact that we have so many bullish divergences coming through, and we're at the bottom area where we just continuously touch this oversold. Now, we're not oversold now, but we did get our first green print here, right? And so typically when you get that green print, right, like this, see here, and then you flip green, see that how you have that nice little push north. It doesn't mean we're going parabolic, right? But we are getting our first green print, and on our 1 hour, our divergence is picking up a green flip here. Most important part, and this is what I put in the daily insight, I will share with y'all on this, is this 21 SMA. If we close above the 21 SMA, which is like 441.47, so I would give it a little room, maybe 441.80, 442. If we can gain some steam, right, which you can see we're getting some push north, possibly the jobless claims, I'm not looking at that, came out a little bullish, but then the likelihood is that this is going to take off back to retest this 443.89. It's still going to be a very key area for us to watch, right? The 443.89 area, because if we can't flip this, if it continues to hold resistance in here, right, it's just going to come right back down, and then it's just kind of like what everybody calls that dead cat bounce. Now for me. For me yesterday, towards end of market, I actually entered a call, so my position is going to be up pretty big. The reason why I entered the call is because, as I've been telling y'all for weeks now, this is the lower channel line that has been, we've gotten a bounce 1, 2, right? You got 3 didn't even touch it, 4 didn't even touch it, 5 didn't even touch it. Now we touched it again. So the likelihood is we're going to get one more bounce, right? So that's why I played that call. So that's how I played that range there. So as far as our high goes today, I think we could easily retest the 443.80, 443.90 range. The 21 SMA is going to be the key, because you're going to see two scenarios happen here. And if you get above the 21 SMA, you're clear to take some calls, scalps, right? Because you could get all the way up to this 200 EMA, which is a size 447. I don't think we're getting there today or tomorrow, but right, we'll work our way there. But if we cannot break this 21 SMA, you're going to see another hard rejection, and it's going to come all the way down to about 438, 438.50, somewhere like around here, right, between now and the end of market. And then we would need to gain some more support to try to push to break through. So it could be almost like if it can't break it initially, then the bulls are going to let off a little bit, and they're going to let it come down and try to fight the double bottom, right, like that. So that's the range you want to scalp today. I'd be careful on the puts. If you want to take puts, just keep them, tight scalps. Now, zooming out, though, I think ultimately, if we come back up and retest this area here like that, if you think about it, that is kind of like this side, right, of this mountain here. So I don't know that we're going to take off north and break through this 443.80 or so. I think we would reject again and come back down here to around the 438, and then try to test this area of support right there. So if this 437, 438 range happens to break, let's say into next week, then that's the 431 I've been calling for I don't know ever. But I think, if we do get down to this 431 area, I think this is like anything in here, I'm taking only calls. I'm not taking puts. Although I do believe someday we're going to hit this line here. I don't know that it's going to happen right away. I would say for us to have a hope of hitting this line, we need to have kind of like our shoulder head, right? We call this head like up here. So it's almost, literally almost forming that head perfectly, right? So that's why I was saying that bounce around 437 here could be huge, or we could bounce here. Remember, because this could be the start of the neckline, let's say, for this head right here, right? That could be the bottom, like that. And so we could come up, hit this, kind of round a little bit, come back down, break this, pump back up, break it, like that. And then that's going to be, that initial kind of shoulder, right? And then we could have another bounce and a pullback. Now keep in mind this is the hour, right? So pulling into here, this is like end of September. So don't we're on the 1 hour chart, so it could take some time for that to happen. But we can take an initial line right here and put it there and just see, let's make it like a different color, like purple or something, so I know that that's the neckline when I'm zoomed in. But I still think we're due for a bounce, guys. We have a lot of bullish divergence coming through here. We're getting some crazy lower lows on the larger time frame with equal or higher lows on the RSI. That usually tells you a bounce is coming, so just don't get caught. Why so many indicators? I don't actually have so many. I only have 4. So we actually custom create our indicators, so I know exactly what each one does. Looking at the comments real quick here. Good deal. So that's kind of my thoughts on the SPY there. Let's talk about. I'm going to talk about some key ones. Apple, I'm going to skip because it's just doing what we talked about. The only thing I will briefly touch on Apple is, the support area 177.22 right here has broken, but now we're still retesting this area, right, which once was resistance, is still acting as support. We have kind of a falling channel going on here. I still think Apple has kind of one more little pop to go, up to maybe 181 or so before it retests and possibly rejects there. I'm not going to touch on Microsoft. If you guys want me to touch on it, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to kind of skip some of these unless they look interesting. This was Google. This was Google chart that we talked about a while ago. And so you can see here, this was that low we were watching. We broke it, but we reclaimed it, so we didn't actually get a break south here. So if we can hold above the 200 EMA right here, which is like 129.40, if it can close above this, right, and get a bullish confirmation, then there's going to be a push up to at least 131, so it should be a nice little scalp. And our divergence center is green on that one too. So Amazon, we talked about Amazon the other day. I left this little wedge we were drawing for this area. We did get this scalp up here. It did break back down. We were looking for this to hold for another pop. It didn't. It broke back down, and we're also below that 200 with that death cross. So I would the key area to watch here is 136.79. I would not take a call on Amazon unless we close back above that. I want to close above that, get some support, and then take off north. If we do continue to reject off here, then you're going to want to take those put scalps. But keep in mind, we do have that little bit about bullish divergence, and we are green on our divergence hunter. So for Amazon, let's touch briefly on the dollar. Y'all know I marked this like forever ago, back when we had this double bottom. I had marked this, and so we literally almost hit right off of it, the 103.60 area. I had it at 103.65, so we were pretty close. I would suspect that the dollar is going to continue to break down to retest this 102.82 area. That's where we will get that little bit of a push north, I think. I can take a look at Tesla and Nvidia. Just give me one moment. And so when you get this bounce here, that will the pullback is going to cause us to go up slightly, and then when it gets the bounce, we'll get a little bit of a pullback from there. So for the markets to push really high to that 447 on the SPY, I'd want to see this break actually break the 200 on the 1 hour EMA and actually continue with some confirmation. So that means that we're going to begin our descent. So, and it's no different than back here when we hit it, right? We had that first rejection, we came up, and then that's when it began its descent. So I'm not suspecting it's going to break this. I think it's going to just try to kind of flirt with it a little bit, and then we'll break back down and retest this area somewhere. Let's see. So I already did the SPY. Guys, if you miss it, if you missed something that I did, you guys can always watch it. It's recorded on our YouTube. So you could go back to our YouTube and you can rewind it. Our YouTube is ATA_trader. So NVIDIA is a fun one. I was actually talking to CK about NVIDIA because when we had our crazy push, right? Look, our indicator actually caught that push. We had the bullish divergence flip, right? So I mean everything in here showed. That's when CK was using this stuff when he posted his I think it was like 89 grand he made on this pump right here is insane. And so kind of where do I see NVIDIA going from here? Just kind of taking a look. So the concerns I would have with a call on NVIDIA is that we did get our kind of golden cross here, but it is flipping back. We did get a little death cross on the 1 hour through the extended hours charting. And you can see this 21 SMA right here is going to be key. And so if it keeps rejecting off of 438.86, somewhere around here, and we can't get a close above that, it's going to break down again. We are getting a little gap fill that was called here, so there might be a pullback to as low as 435.70 again. If this pulls back and can create a higher low right than here, so something like I would just take like this wick like that. If we can get a pullback and then a bounce right here and have it pull back up, then NVIDIA is setting up for another explosion if this line right here can hold. So now, however, the bearish side of it, if we get a rejection like this and this actually breaks and we get a close below like this, right, and we reject off of this, then that's when you're going to see that further downside. But anything above 439.38, I would take those calls. I think it's still got enough steam. But anything below 438.80, I would stay on that put side. So our divergence hunter is picking up the green flip, and this is the first green flip since 446. So if we do get to close above this, like 439.56 by market open, you might be able to take a nice little scalp north. So yeah, NVIDIA was nuts. That trade was so wild. I didn't make near as much as CK did on that. He did just such a massive trade on that one. And then somebody said something about Tesla. So Tesla, okay. Just to back up on Tesla, we talked about back when it was over here. I told y'all, we marked this spot here. I said don't chase it. There's no way it's gonna hold. You can see, we began to see these short calls. We got a nice resistance line that hit right here, and then we started this channel, right? And it just. The thing I told you guys, this was like I think last week, to be careful on calls on your on Tesla because of the fact that it looks very I'm gonna mute just two of these so I can see more trend lines, right? But it looks very kind of rounding, and so a way that we teach people in the room to see this is to focus on each side from a peak, right? And so I always do it this way, right? So you have peak, 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 peak. You have your high peak, right? Now we created a lower peak. Typically it will be equal to this side, but it wasn't. It was actually weaker, right? And so that began to break down. We broke down below. We retested this support, came back up, and look at it tested the same side as this side, right? So that kind of gives you that confirmation that we're probably in trouble as far as on the downside of things versus the upside, right? Because you had that instant rejection from there. And you can see that played out perfectly. It came back down, right? And then when it came back down to here, which tested this support area here, everybody bought in thinking we'd get one, nice little scalp push. They bought in, and look at where this wick hit, literally right here, which is equivalent to right there. And then we lost it, right? And so that's what I didn't like about Tesla. Just be careful on Tesla, because although I think that this was us being on the downside, I do think we're going to get into some pretty crazy support. If we happen to make it down to about 218 or so, it's going to get a nasty bounce because you have the first time that it's testing resistance. That was heavy resistance, right, where it dropped. And look at that, resistance was after just a massive pump, right? Just hardcore rejected. So typically the first time we hit that, it's going to cause at least a nice little bounce scalp. But overall, I think I'm bullish on Tesla. I think, let me see if I find oh yeah, look at this. So here's what else I would keep an eye on is something like this right there. So notice how this one right here lines up almost perfectly with where we're holding support, right? So we maybe, I wouldn't take any more puts on Tesla. I'd be careful. I would be thinking more call. If you look at the EMAs, just like we talked about on the other ones, if we flip this 21 SMA, which is like 220. I mean, it's really right where it is, right? If we get up to about 228 or so, I think you're clear to take some calls. You got bullish divergence. We could get a nice little pop. I mean, not really as high as 244, and that would coincide with what we talked about on the SPY as well. So that's awesome, Will. Yeah. Just looking at here. So, for Eminent Bullies, I'm not sure if you're still here, but yeah, the SPY guys. Anything we do, if you go to community events, and you guys can do this either directly on our YouTube, just go to ATA_trader, or you can go to botjock.com, just sign up free with an email, and then when you do that, you go into community events, and you'll see the stream that I'm doing, literally 8/6/17. Watch, we'll double play it. Ready? There it is. So that's literally the one I'm doing right now, and so that's where you can watch it. So people that, because I get that a lot where they'll ask for stuff that I already did, and unfortunately I don't have the time to backtrack because we only have 30 minutes. But if I've covered it, I'll tell you. AMD I did not cover. I used to follow AMD. I'll be honest with you, I stopped following AMD, but I just haven't traded it for a while. So let me I'll pop that one up real quick and show you. First thing popping off for me is our zone tracker's picking up massive support here. So I would watch this 21 SMA. A lot of our scalping that we do in our room honestly ends up being between the 21 SMA and the 200 EMA. If it flips it, we take our calls because it's likely to go to the 200 and then reject. If it continues to squeeze it and it can't flip this, then it's going to break that support. So currently right now we have a high resistance zone up in here around 112 to 113, 114. And we have heavy support. So we might actually get a nice little it's funny because the first thing that sticks out to me, right, is you have this kind of like a triple bottom, pop. Couldn't break the 200. That's what collapsed it back down. And then now you have kind of like a potential inverse head and shoulder, a little mini one, right? And so if it breaks that neckline right around that 21 SMA, you're gonna get a reclaim of this candle there. We did flip green on the 1 hour if it closes that way in 7 minutes. Yeah, I mean, this is just heavy. It's at such heavy support right now, AMD. So I would not be taking puts on AMD right now. The only way I would take a put on AMD is if we broke below 105.82. If I've seen a break below that and then it found support at 103 and then found some rejection off of 105.82 again, then I would ride that down. But there's too many things right now showing. Let's see what the harmonic shows. So the harmonic called the short, the long, and the short. It has not flipped long yet on the 1 hour. 15-minute has some bullish divergence for sure. It called this long and then it called this short. It has not flipped long even on the 15-minute. So it might take a little bit of time for this to play out. Yeah. Now the 5-minute is calling this long. It actually called it back here. So on the 5-minute, on the shorter time frame, we are seeing that. But again, it's got to flip this 200, and you can see how the inverse head and shoulder is a little more clear here, right? Now this is okay. We always joke about this in the room, terrible as it is, but CK always says that an inverse head and shoulder, you can have a clean shoulder, a clean head, and have what we call a scoliotic shoulder, or CK likes to call it like that, right? It doesn't have to be an equal or a perfect shoulder. Actually, if this is a weaker shoulder, it's actually a stronger push on the pattern, because what it means is the bears can't even push it down far enough to equal this shoulder, and so that shows signs of weakness on the bears, and bam, you get that crazy pop. So hope that helps you out on your trading today. SPY, please. So link in bio. I already did the SPY, but I'll touch on it quickly just because we do trade that in our room anyways. I'm going to give you the key points. This is the channel that we are following. We have a lot of bullish divergence. I'm expecting a push north if we can break the 441.50 range and hold it, because that's the 21 SMA on the 1 hour. We are green on this, but it does have to close in the next 5 minutes. I think that if we do get a push north, we're going to find heavy resistance again at 444, 443.90. However, if we can flip this, we're going to get for sure a hard rejection off of the 200 EMA. I just think it's going to take some time to get there, so this is going to pull down, and then we're likely, if we do push up, it's going to hit here on 445, and this would be an amazing put area. It's going to just collapse that. So unless news kicks out, but for me, I'm staying more call today. I'm not taking puts. The only way that I would take a put is if I see a collapse of 439. I want to see a breakdown here, and then I want to start to see rejection, and then I'll follow my indicators to take a put. So, but I do got to jump into the BTC. I promised some Monday on that, and so I'm gonna go a little bit over on this huddle, but that's okay. So BTC, this is what I've been following for, I don't know. I think we drew this like back here. I think it was right here, July 24th. So we just continued to break off of that. We had our rejection off the top again. It is a falling wedge. We do want to get some bullish divergence to give it the steam to break. I do think that this has a chance to pop north. I just think that we still have some possible downside to go. The actual apex low that I have between this line and this other line, which is, I think I have to go to like the daily to get this one. Hold on. This is the larger line that I'm following, is from here, where we had our explosion here, and then where we had our explosion here. So this yellow line is really, really important. Let's change it purple just to make sure that that's the one, but I'm pretty sure that that is the one that we want to follow. Yep. So you can see we are getting really close to that. So here's the situation I see with Bitcoin for the one who asked that. I would see this come like this, create a higher low. It's going to have a hard time with this SMA. If it flips the SMA like this, let's say it's kind of curls like that, and then it retests it, I think it's going to push up to test this 200 EMA around 29 something. And then that's going to reject it, causing some kind of head and shoulder, which is going to push us back down to here around 28.1 for a retest. I think we'll double bottom here, and that's going to cause us to just go bananas. So that's kind of what I foresee happening. Now, that's all kind of based on the fact that it can actually break the 21 SMA. So if you can't even break the 21 SMA, let's say it comes up, it's going to hit it about here, comes down, it's going to hit it again there, it's going to break below, come up and retest, this prior support area, then it will collapse. Then I think we're going to still double bottom and break up there. So however we get there, I think that the support around 28.1 is going to be pretty freaking crazy, because it has not been able to break it. And if we do break that because of news, we can't predict news, but if it does predict, pop because of news, then the fall, I think my low, I had a low on here somewhere. I think I might have took it off. No, right here. It's like something crazy, like 19 something. And that was based off of this, right? So we just took this wick, and we took this right here where we double bottomed around 16, and then just absolutely pumped, right? So, I would say about right there. So let's make this one teal. I don't like it green, just so I can know. And so I still think that there's a big chance that if we break this purple line, right, if it can't keep that bounce and it does break it, I think we're going to begin our descent down to here. Now, it could be something where we see this rounded here, we break it down, we hit 26 or so, we pump back up to 31, and then we come back down, and then we hit this, right? So it'll be around 20,000, 21,000. I don't think we're getting lower than that. That's just me. I do think we're getting lower. I think we're still going to 10K at some point. I'm a firm believer. I don't want to get into that part today, but if you're in the community, you guys know why I think that, and I teach you guys how people come up with that number. I hope that helps you with Bitcoin. Yeah, Amazon. I touched on Amazon. I don't want to go back and forth on it, but I think Amazon, created a higher low here than here, and it did get back in its zone. So we talked about it needs to break look at the 200 EMA on the 1 hour. It's got to get above that. If it gets above that and it can close above that, it's going to pop. That's my prediction or anticipation. Let's talk about the ATA. I'm going to spend about 10 minutes on this. So I know some of you, so this is what we took yesterday. With some news. We did have a call here. We did have a call there. We took a call here. This was news heavy. So we didn't do, it was only, I think, 2 days. And so I did not run a stop loss on this particular trade. We have been way up for the past 2 weeks. So took a little risk with the news. My anticipation is that the news was going to pull it back, which I didn't want to get wicked out and then pump up. I was actually correct. It pulled it back and it pumped it up, but The problem is Target and some others and some banking stuff came out, and that's what did this, right? And so you can see the pre-market's up. You know, based on what I've seen, if we can break that 200 EMA, we're going to push back up here anyways, and we'll be okay on that. We did have a great trade on the put side. We got all the way to TP2 on this one. Actually hit TP3, and then it just barely wicked up on us. So aside from the one that we're stuck in, we had a great win yesterday. You can see some lines that I put on here. I don't really do TA on my ATA charting, but you know, we watched the ATA through the day, just kind of talking about it. And so you can see this is where I was charting the same thing, right? We were watching these levels where it broke, and then we broke, you know, drew this level here. That was where I was watching this triple top breakdown, and then this was the secondary breakdown, which was the neckline, which it all played out pretty perfectly. So I'm going to clean those lines up. So I am going to I'm going to still run a put. We have to leave this call alert on there because that one's still in. So I'm going to delete the put. We will run the put again still, but I'm just going to do the 1 day contract. So we're going to try to just get in and out of here. We'll start it at 9:45 again. I want to see if we get an initial push up before we do that. I'm still going to run the SARS just because I almost don't want to run the put, to be honest with you, but I think it'll be okay if we do it on the more passive one. So, and then all we gotta do is update the date. We're gonna close the candle at 9:30. We'll let this finish updating, and then we just add the alert. Yeah, I can just leave it like that. That's fine. So now we know that we're already in this call. We don't want to just wait, right, and miss out on opportunities for calls. This is where I have talked to people about before. So how do I have it do another call? So I'm just going to go into here. I'm going to do my copy trader options and then add this indicator back. Takes a second. I'm at the mercy of TradingView when I click it because it's a lot of code in there. So sometimes TradingView likes to take a minute to add it. So let's give this a second. But we're gonna add another alert so that way we can still let this one run. And I'm showing you all this because of those that are doing this on their own, right? So we're gonna let this one up here run, and then we're gonna add another alert to capitalize on some more calls on the way back up, right? So I don't know if I clicked that. Let's try it again. Oh, right when I clicked the second time, then it added in there. See right here. So let's take that one out. Okay, so we're gonna do call SPY. I'm just gonna do parabolic. I don't want to go too aggressive right out the gate. I may change that. We'll talk about that in the room when we open it up. We're gonna do the 9:45. We're gonna stop trading about. We'll say. I'm gonna probably say 2 o'clock actually. Strike price. Let's do point 0.3 is fine because we're only doing 1 day. We don't want a DCA. We're going to set our stop loss on this one. So if we do go backwards, we will get hit on that stop loss, but we don't want to get stuck into 2 trades. 8 and 17. This is literally, y'all, I do this for the copy trade if you guys are new and you're kind of wondering what I'm doing, but you can actually, you have this indicator you can get on your own chart. This is literally how easy it is to do. So we have our settings. So now once you set up your settings, all you do is you create your alert. I'm gonna call this copy 2, so that way I know it's oh, I forgot it does the exact same characters, so that's fine. If you ever get that, it's because you added a character to it. I've been lazy lately. I haven't deleted it. Normally I recommend to do this. We'll just call it copy 2 call. I normally recommend deleting it out, but so let's just double check. Call, SPY, taste trade, parabolic, 1 contract day, time zone. We're not doing that. Strike price, no DCA, stop loss. Yep, we're good. So let's just check and make sure. Yep, we have all 3 alerts are going, and so we're good. So the last thing I want to talk about is my live trader settings yesterday. So y'all remember we talked about it briefly yesterday. We have came out with this thing called Live Trader, and this thing is going to be. I will just put it this way: if you are watching this on TikTok or on YouTube, uh, if you're someone who is finding yourself getting stuck in trades, and you tell yourself, "Man, why did I enter a call? I knew it was going down, or I knew it was going up," or maybe you're just you knew that this was gonna drop, but you entered it here, right? You entered it too soon. You didn't trust your TA, right, to where it broke this line, or you knew this was gonna pump, right, but you entered it here trying to chase a candle. Then you ended up negative, and you only profited from there to there, right? And how many times do we tell ourselves, like, I knew this was gonna happen? This is why we made the ATA or the Live Trader. So Live Trader, what this does is it actually gives you the option to choose how many contracts you want to do, whether you want to do the call or the put, how many days you want to do. So if you're a long-term person, you want to do 7, 10, 20, whatever you want to do. And then you can set your time zone trading. So let's say, like yesterday, right? Yesterday we talked about it and we said, okay, I'm okay with trading from maybe, let's say 9:30, but we have news at 2 o'clock. I don't want it to trade past 1 o'clock. I want it, no more trades, right? Be out. You can also say, I don't want it to trade into the news. So I had this set to close all my trades, no matter what, no matter if it's profit or not, by 1:30, because I don't want to get caught in the news, right? Because the best of the TA is amazing, but news is news. I mean, it trumps everything. So that gives you those options, right? This is just the mark you're going to choose when you want to set your trading day. So we started trading at 9:40. You can see here. So what I wanted to show you is, so I had an open price of 442 on a call, right? And then we were testing it out there with the one contract, 1 day. And so if you notice, this is the 442 line, right? I set this up right here at 940. What I said is, if I get down into this level, I want it to take a call. Now, here's what's funny is, although I was not on point, right, with this bounce or this bounce, I was pretty close. And so it if you think about it, I didn't have to sit and watch on my chart because it didn't take this trade till noon. Came out, took its win, and then it fell, right? All automated. Once you set your settings, it actually will initiate those trades based on you. Now, once it initiates the entry, the beauty of our technology is it will not do the entry. It will not enter that trade just because it touched it. It's not a limit order. You have to get a close back above going your direction before it will even enter that. So on a call, it would have to break below it and go back above it if you have it lower than the price. Now, I had another play that I was doing, which was this one, right? I started there. And what I said is, if we break above this line, I think we're running. So if the candle would have broke above this, it would have opened a call, because remember, it's going above, right? It's going your direction. If I wanted to put, then it would only open it if it's going down, right? That direction. So that was my two call plays that I did. And then I did a one put play. So we started the put play there, and then we had marked it here, right? And so this is where it came up, hit the put play, came down, bam, hit TP2, close it all out. That part's all automated. It's kind of like similar to our ATAs. The only difference is you don't have a strategy. You're actually playing. You are the strategy, right? You're playing support and resistance. You're playing trend lines, things like that. And so I was able to get, two solid trades out of that and not have to do anything, right? And you set up each indicator as its own line, its own strategy, its own plan, right? And so we're going to do a whole academy section on this that we will add into our academy. Not only teaching options a little further and more in depth down to the basic level, but also teaching it using how to use this technology. So now where do we want to go from here? What I like to do is come here and check our chart range here. So let's look at like something like more short term, right? When we're setting up this setting, and we're going to go to like the 5 minute. So you can see we're rejecting, we're kind of ping ponging here. So we can look at a level and we can say, okay, if we break above this 200, I think we're running, right? So we can set for it to take a long at like 441.60, I would say. So let's go and adjust our first call here. So we'll just adjust the time. So we're gonna do. I'm just gonna do one contract day. I'm gonna do a little bit higher volume today. We're gonna do 5 contracts, and I'm gonna start it at 9:30. That's fine. Today I'll let it trade a little bit longer. We'll say 3 o'clock. So if it takes time to hit that zone, then that's fine. I'm not gonna stop out at. Well, I'll stop out at the end of the day actually, because it's only a 1 day. I don't want it to let it go past 1 day. So I'll stop out at 3:45. And then all I have to do is set up my time when I want to close the candle. I'll just close it at market open. And then we said we want to do 441.6. So if it hits 441.6, so we're gonna hit that. Now you're not gonna see a candle here yet, right? Because obviously it's not 9:30. So it won't show that that yellow candle. So don't freak out. Some people go, oh man, I can't get my yellow candle to show up. Well, it's not 9:30 yet. So what'll happen is at 9:30, it's going to populate a closed candle, the yellow one. The yellow candle is basically what tells you like we're ready to roll, right? Then it's going to throw a line at that 441.60 right here. If it breaks above and it begins to push north, it's just going to take that call. It's going to open it, right? So now that we have that, we have the trade set for us to watch that run. Now let's say, where do we get our pullback? Where would we want to enter a call? So now this is where I'm just going to take some basic trend line TA, right? We'll just find out where it got supported about right there. So we know there's some heavy support around 439.80. You don't want to choose the bottom because it has to go below it and back above it, remember. So we want to choose somewhere around here. So I'm gonna say like let's just do 440. That's fine, I think. So my second call, this is how I play it. I like to do at least 2 calls. I don't know that I'm gonna do 2 puts just because of the fact that I don't know how if we're gonna break that support right now. So I'm gonna take my second call. Right, we're gonna do the same thing, 5 contracts. We're gonna do the call. I'm gonna do 1 day, 9:30. We're gonna do this one till 3. We're gonna close it at 3:45. I'm just doing it a little faster because I want to show you guys it doesn't take very long to do this. And that's the concept is, you can do this before work, right? And so we said at 440, we're gonna take 1 trade only. Strike price, that's fine, 0.5, and we have our stop loss in there. So I highly recommend you set stop losses on this, guys, unless you are able to manage it and you are able to work your way out. If you're more experienced, then you can do it without it. But if you're newer, I mean, you really should always set that stop loss, especially because you're not watching it. And so that's the setup I have right there, right? And so and I didn't do it earlier on this one, but when you go in here and you create this alert, right, you would hit add alert. I would name this, it says live, but I would put something that's going to make you remember it, right? So I would say like live call, and then maybe put the price, like 440, what did we say, 441.60, something like that. And then when you create that alert, right, now it's going to come into here and see how it's easy for you to see which one that's for, right? And then I would do the same thing here, add alert. I would just do, again, this part is just for you to remember. So live, I would say 440 call, and we'll create that alert. So now we got our calls set. This is some, like I said, some just basic TA we're doing. Now, where do we want to watch for a rejection? Where do we think that put could be a good play? Now, we already know that we could have that potential run north, right, up into this range. This could be a potential put area, right, 442.20. I don't know that I want to even test that. So what I'm gonna probably do is just put one put up there, and I'm gonna do it based off of this 443.90. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Right? That's the beauty of the technology. So let's put 443 like 50. And so this one may never hit, right? But if it does pump up north, you're playing that rejection. So we're gonna do also 5 contracts, 1 day put. Time's fine. We're gonna stop out at the end of the day because we're only doing 1 day. 17 and 443.6, I think is what we said. And we'll do 0.5. 0.5. There it is, and we got that. Make sure we got the stop loss in there. Yep, 0.25 is a good stop loss. It it hurts a little bit when it hits, but it's not going to wreck your account, right? So Live Trader is on SPY right now, but yes, we are gonna slowly add everything that we can, as many as we can have. I want to put it on as many as we can. I mean, for sure, the ones that I do the TA on right now, those will be the ones that we will add. But yeah, that's part of what I'm working with Alex as well today. So we are working on that. Some more to come. But for now, you can get used to it with the SPY. Right, so now I'm just gonna make this alert, and again I'm just gonna say live, and then we're gonna say put what did I say, 443.5, I think is what I did. So this is my to-do list, so I have to be very kind of anal, I guess, about how that looks, because I need to know that I'm deleting the right alert when things hit, right? And so that's why I do it very specific like that. And now you're set. Think about this, right? Now you're set. You got your ranges all set. You can unmute these like this. You come in, you save your chart. Now it'll go to your mobile, and then you go to work. And either it doesn't hit any of your range and you didn't trade all day, but you didn't stare at your chart all day either. Right? Or it hits your TA, it hits your range. You come home, we got 3 wins because it played my TA perfectly, and you're good, right? Or maybe you got thrown into a trade and it hit your stop loss. It's gonna happen. You will have a red day as a trader. It's just gonna happen. So, but it's gonna be amazing, guys. Like, this is like the only way that I'm gonna trade going forward. Other than this, I'm just gonna we'll just hang out in the room and talk about patterns and just do what we do in the room, teaching people how to see the charts and the patterns and what to look for, stuff like that. So yeah, it's exciting, but I'm like 17 minutes over. I don't want to make this too much longer, but I appreciate you guys' time. If you guys want to come into the room, botjok.com, botjok.com. I'm going to end the live stream. We'll see you soon. I will only be able to hang out in the room till about maybe 10. It won't be very long. So I'm going to open up the room now. That way I can answer questions, things like that. And then we'll go through these settings, answer some questions, and move on. But I appreciate it, guys. We'll see ya.